All right, we interrupt this regularly scheduled programming to talk about video 2, adding, subtracting, and multiplying complex numbers. So it's your lucky day, because if you clicked on this video, that's probably exactly what you want to listen to. At this exact moment, you use probably nothing you'd rather listen to than this. So here we go. We basically already did all of the hard stuff in video 1. So in video 2 right here, the idea, again, things to remember is to treat I like a variable, to treat I like you would X. All right, almost everything is just the same as algebra. The only difference is, remember that every time you have an I squared, replace that I squared with -1 through multiplication. That's important. I'll show you what I mean by that in some of our examples. We're on example 2. Over here, simplify. And let's look at one of each. Adding 2 plus I, that's a complex number. Plus, I don't know what that is, but it's supposed to be a parenthesis. Plus 3 minus 2I. So these are two complex numbers. We just add them like you would add anything else. Okay? So 2 plus 3 is 5. I minus 2I is -I. That's it. If you want to do an intermediate step, we don't need the parentheses here. You could write this as 2 plus I plus 3 minus 2I. We don't have to distribute. I mean, you can think about it as distributing, but it's just a plus 1. So essentially the parentheses can go away. Now it's just 2 plus 3 is 5. Oops. Plus I minus 2I is -I. This is why some people don't like math in pen. But I love pens, by the way. I hate pencils. So I am a unusual math instructor. You can use pens or pencils as you prefer. All right, so our final answer is 5 minus I. And again, that's in the right format. The real part first, the imaginary part at the end. That's how you add. You can also subtract. And it is pretty similar, just with a tiny pitfall that you might fall 500 feet to your doom if you forget this. So don't forget it. It's almost the same. We're subtracting the complex numbers, which means we need to subtract each part. So if you want to get rid of the parentheses here, you can. But in this case, you do need to distribute that negative. It's very easy to forget this. And if you do, I will frown at you while I'm grading your quizzes, okay? And nobody wants that. So this becomes a -3, and then subtracting a negative becomes a plus 2I. So this is a little different. 2 minus 3 is -1. 1I plus 2I is 3 of them. Real part first, imaginary part second. And that's how you simplify complex numbers with subtraction. All right, last part of the video, we'll go through it pretty quickly. We already did the harder things, is we got part C over here. That's how we multiply. All right, I need to stop doing that. Multiply complex numbers. We already did some multiplication before, right? Up here, we FOILed it out. That's multiplying. Here, we distributed. That's multiplying. But you get something like this, remember, even if the thing is on the right-hand side, it's the same as multiplying on the left-hand side. Because again, multiplication is commutative. So if you wanted to move that 3i over here, you could. Or you can just distribute this way. 2 times 3i is 6i. 3i times 3i, this is where you have to be a little careful. Again, think of i's like variables. If you multiply an x by an x, you get an x squared. 3i times 3i becomes 9i squared. 3 times 3 is 9. I times I is I squared, so watch out for that. And again, you may be tempted to be done, but do not forget number 2 over here. We need to simplify the I squared. So we get 6i plus 9 times -1. Replace the I squared with -1, but remember, these are multiplied by each other. This is 9 times I squared. So this becomes 9 times -1. It's very easy to forget this and do some sort of addition or subtraction instead, which is no good. So this becomes 6i This is really getting me today. 6i minus 9, but we don't want it in this form. We want the real part first. The real part's minus 9. And the imaginary part, goodness, is 6i. And this is the format we want. One of these days, I'm not going to catch myself. And I'm just going to write for like 10 minutes. You guys are going to be able to see anything because the camera's just going to go in the wrong way. But that's the idea right here. So should be able to do numbers 16 through 26 even now. Have fun with that. And you can come back here for the best part, division. Everyone loves division.